You ever reach the point in a show where every conversation feels like it could be the last one? That's the energy hanging over Outlander Season 8, Episode 9 from the very first scene. And honestly, I don't think this series has felt this emotionally dangerous in a long time. Not because of some giant battle or shocking twist right away, but because everyone in this episode feels painfully aware that time is running out. And that realization? It's everywhere. In the silence. In the way characters look at each other. In the things they finally choose to say after years of holding them back. The moment the episode opens on Lord John trapped, exhausted, half-broken mentally and physically, there's this suffocating feeling that something irreversible has already happened. The camera almost drifts with his confusion, and for a second, I genuinely thought the show was preparing us for his death. And after that long wait between episodes, that anxiety just hit even harder. But what surprised me wasn't just the danger he was in. It was how deeply personal the entire storyline became. This wasn't just about politics or war anymore. This was about humiliation, betrayal, loyalty, and the terrifying cost of loving the wrong people in the wrong century. Richardson revealing the blackmail plot honestly made my stomach turn because it felt so calculated and cruel. The idea that Lord John's entire life, his honor, his family, could be destroyed through lies and manipulation. It reminded me how vicious this world can be in Outlander when power gets involved. And yet, John refusing to bend? That was one of the strongest moments of the season for me. No screaming, no dramatic speech, just quiet resistance. Even while imprisoned, he still carried himself with dignity. That tiny detail of him carving a clue into the ring with a rusty nail somehow said more about his character than any big heroic scene could. But then the rescue happened, and wow. William embracing Lord John completely broke me. Because underneath all the anger they've thrown at each other lately, you could feel this desperate fear from William that he was about to lose the one man who truly raised him. And for a character who has spent most of this season struggling with identity, that hug felt like the first moment he stopped running from his emotions. There was no pride left there. No was. Just relief. Pure relief. And can we talk about how this episode handled forgiveness? Because that's really what everything revolved around. Not revenge. Not war. Forgiveness. Jamie and Lord John finally reconciling felt overdue in the best possible way. The tension between them has been sitting there like an open wound for so long that I almost forgot how powerful their friendship used to be. But when Jamie finally admits that John has done more for him than almost anyone else in his life, you can feel years of resentment collapsing all at once. It didn't feel melodramatic either. It felt tired, honest, like two men finally realizing life is too short to keep carrying bitterness. And the thing is, the episode knows exactly what it's doing emotionally. Every reunion feels shadowed by the possibility that it might also be a goodbye. That's what made Claire's scenes hit so hard for me too. Seeing her begin to write the story we've basically been hearing for years felt strangely surreal. Almost like the show itself paused for a second to look back on its own journey. 12 years of love, loss, war, time travel, grief, and suddenly Claire is putting it into words. That moment quietly screams, this is the end now. But then the episode throws in that conversation with Richardson being a time traveler, and suddenly the entire story shifts into something even bigger. Because now we're not just talking about changing personal fates, we're talking about history itself. Slavery. Var. Entire generations. And what I loved is that the show doesn't offer an easy answer. Richardson believes changing history could save millions. Claire understands that temptation because she's spent years trying to stop pain before it happens. But deep down, she also knows the terrifying truth this series keeps returning to: history resists being rewritten. That idea becomes haunting once Jamie prepares for King's Mountain. Every scene with Jamie in this episode felt heavy. Not dramatic heavy, mortal heavy, like a man quietly sensing the clock ticking louder with every step. When Brianna begs him not to go, I think part of every viewer wanted him to listen. Just once. Just walk away from destiny. But Jamie Fraser has never been built that way. He would rather face death protecting the people he loves than survive hiding from it. And somehow that makes his scenes both inspiring and heartbreaking at the same time. There's one moment I can't stop thinking about, though, when Jamie rides away from William. And this time, he turns back. Such a tiny thing. But if you follow these characters for years, you understand how massive that moment really is. William spent so long feeling abandoned, disconnected, unsure of where he belonged. And with one look, Jamie finally gives him acknowledgement. Acceptance. Love, even if it's unspoken. No dramatic monologue needed. Just eye contact across distance. Honestly, that scene said more than pages of dialogue ever could. And I think that's why this episode worked so well for me overall. It balanced emotional payoff with this constant underlying dread. You can feel the finale approaching in every frame. Characters are mending relationships because somewhere deep down, they know they may not get another chance. The war isn't just coming physically, it's emotionally consuming everyone before it even begins. I also appreciated that Claire finally felt central again. I've honestly felt this season underused her at times, but here she felt emotionally connected to everything happening around her. Her fear about Jamie's fate, her reflections on time travel, her inability to stop history from moving forward, all of it reminded me why she's always been the soul of this story. There were a few moments that caught me off guard, though. The time jump with Brianna and Roger's child felt abrupt, almost like the show skipped emotional beats we should have sat with longer. And I do wish Roger, Brianna, and Ian had more weight this season overall, because they've always been such an important emotional layer in the family dynamic. But honestly, this episode was so emotionally rich that those issues didn't take me out of it for long. By the final minutes, when a march toward King's Mountain truly begins, there's this overwhelming sense that Outlander is preparing to break our hearts one last time. And maybe that's exactly what it should do. This show has never really been about escaping fate. It's been about loving people anyway, even when time itself feels determined to take them from you. And now we're one episode away from the end. After all these years, that honestly feels unreal to say out loud. If the finale delivers the emotional weight this episode set up, I genuinely think Outlander could end on one of its strongest notes ever. But I'm not ready to say goodbye yet. And judging by this episode, I don't think the characters are either. So now I need to hear from you. Do you think Jamie's fate can actually be changed? Or has the show been warning us all along that history always wins? And was this the perfect ending for Lord John and William? Or do you think there's still more left for their story? Drop all your thoughts down in the comments, because I know this episode gave us a lot to unpack. And if you enjoyed this review, don't forget to like the video, subscribe, and stick around for the finale coverage, because something tells me next week is going to destroy us emotionally in the best way possible.